So we have a new deadly virus outbreak on a cruise ship. Incoming pandemic.
Right now, about 150 people, including 17 Americans, are quarantined on a cruise ship off Africa after a suspected hantavirus outbreak leaves 3 dead and several others sick. Jeff Paul joins us live with more. Jeff.
Yeah. And in my timeline, I was seeing that people were saying it came from South America. When they hit South America, somebody got on board or something like that. I don't know.
Brian, and as of now, local health officials in Cape Verde aren't allowing the cruise ship to dock due to public health concerns. And for the folks who are still stuck on that ship, it only gets more terrifying as each hour ticks by without a solution.
I'm hearing it comes from rodent droppings. So, and their saliva or fluids or something like that. And if, like, I don't know, like if you were to, say you were to be cleaning up rodent droppings, maybe you were sweeping and, you know, they're in the pile. It might look like dirt, you know what I mean? If it gets airborne, particles get airborne is how it gets into people.
I am currently on board the MV Hobbyist, and what's happening right now is very real for all of us here. We're not just a story.
It sounds terrifying.
We're not just headlines. We're people with families, with lives, with people waiting for us at home.
Now, the MV Hondias originally set sail on a weeks-long polar cruise from Argentina to Antarctica. As the ship made its way up the Atlantic Ocean, the crew requested help from local health authorities. So far, 3 people have died during this suspected outbreak of hantavirus. It's a disease that can cause deadly respiratory illness and is usually contracted through particles from rodent droppings or urine. While it's not typically easily spread between people, the World Health Organization is investigating.
Right now, our focus is on treating the patients and keeping the remaining passengers and crew safe. At the same time,
tell y'all this, after the coof, I don't trust nothing no more.
We are working with authorities to understand the source of exposure.
The cruise ship is now working to arrange evacuations for 2 crew members who are showing symptoms of hantavirus, which usually begins with fever and fatigue. There's no specific treatment, but the WHO says the risk to the general public is low. There's no need to panic or stop traveling. Charlie, Ainsley, and Brian.
Jeff Paul, thank you so much.
Nothing to see here. Everything's fine. I hope so.
Be sure to like and subscribe for
rejecting a plan to have the cruise ship at the center of the hantavirus outbreak.
Fox 1.
Some breaking news this morning. The leader of the Canary Islands rejecting a plan to have the cruise ship at the center of the hantavirus outbreak dock there. As we also have new information out of South Africa. Authorities there confirming the Andes strain of the virus has been identified in 2 passengers. This is the strain that can be transmitted between humans. The World Health Organization giving an update on the origin of this outbreak, which has killed 3 people so far. Listen.
This was an expedition boat, and many of the people on board were doing bird watching. They were doing, a lot of things with wildlife. So our assumption is they were infected off the boat and then joined the cruise. We do know that some of the cases have had very close contact with each other, and certainly human-to-human transmission can't be ruled out.
Joining me now is physician and former Air Force flight surgeon, Dr. Zaid Fadul, to discuss. Doctor, as a fundamental matter, why is hantavirus so deadly?
Hantavirus is deadly because it's a hemorrhagic disease. And when it happens, it breaks down blood vessels, and it breaks down and everything starts to kind of flood and crash in your system. And it ends up having a 35 to 38% mortality rate. So if you think about it from that term, it's pretty terrifying.
Before we get to the cruise ship itself, what symptoms should we be on the lookout for, just in general, for this hantavirus?
I think it's the same symptoms of the flu. In fact, it's very, very common to be misdiagnosed as a flu early on. People are going to get fever, really high spiking fevers, body aches, they're feel muscle aches, and they're going to feel like they got run over by a bus. All that happens in the span of a day, so it can feel pretty overwhelming pretty quickly.
When we start hearing about this Andes strain and the potential human-to-human transmission through this, let's keep in mind, this is a strain that is only found in Argentina and Chile until obviously it then expands, and it is the only known strain to transmit person to person. I hear all that, and it's natural, especially in light of our recent history, to think, is this another pandemic? Is this another COVID? What are you thinking on
I
that?
would hope, Don, if it's out there in Chile, they should have had a pandemic by now if it was so transferable, I would think. But
I understand people's concern and anxiety. I will tell you that with the amount of attention and focus and effort being put in to contain this, it should keep it contained. It's not like the virus whose name we shall not mention on TV.
Sure.
Hantavirus and the Andes.
Yeah, why can't they mention
it? Can be dangerous. It has a long latency period. People can be infected for 2 weeks before they show symptoms, and then they can stay infected for 3 weeks after they've had those symptoms. So,
or was that more of kind of like a not speaking evil type of thing? Don't even speak of it.
This 6-week window where people are going around potentially spreading the virus. But at this point, we've identified it. You've quarantined everyone. Those people who are, at risk are going to be kept away from the general population. And typically, you have to be in really close contact with somebody, intimate contact, to really pick it up person to person. It's not like measles where you can walk in a room a couple hours after somebody.
Yeah, I heard that a husband and wife got it, and he passed away, and I don't know what her condition is.
He was there to pick it up. So, it's not as effective as that, and we've got the appropriate measures in place.
They were old, too.
My suspicion is we've hopefully contained this.
We're looking live now at the ship itself. On the subject of containment, the one word that comes to my mind is quarantine, and I read one report, one doctor saying these folks could be quarantined for up to 8 weeks. You agree with that?
Yeah. I do, yeah, because at some
8
point
weeks on that ship,
up to 4 to 5 weeks to really guarantee they don't have symptoms, and if they were to develop symptoms and survive, they're still infected.
People getting ushered on and off.
So that's where that 8-week estimate comes from.
What's going on with
that?
that?
Long time on that cruise ship.
Doc, a lot of our audience likes to cruise. What's your message to them? Is cruising safe?
Relatively.
I've got 4 children.
I would assume.
Cruising is like the easiest way to go on vacation with small families. The challenge with cruise ships, regardless of what part of the world you go into, is that you're going to be in close contact with lots of people.
True.
Overtime to try and make sure it's as hygienic as possible, clean as possible. But the reality is, anytime you're in any environment with lots of people in a small confined space, you have that risk of any kind of communicable disease. I think personally that cruising is still safe, but I think you always have to take precautions. If you're feeling sick, you shouldn't go on a cruise. If you're on the cruise, hand washing is always one of your best bets. If you're really concerned about picking up a disease and you maybe have some underlying illness, it's not fun, but you can always throw a mask on. And these are the simple precautions that can go a long way to protect you.
We led off this segment by saying the Canary Islands refusing to let this ship dock. While we do understand that these ships themselves have a fairly robust...
They're like, yeah, ain't gonna start no pandemic on the Canary Islands.
Medical establishment.
I hear people like going there for vacation.
That medical establishment could get overwhelmed very quickly with the numbers that we were talking about. So we certainly hope that some area lets this ship dock to get to a hospital where they have a lot more doctors and a lot more medical professionals that can take care of them. Dr. Fadool, thank you so much. This was really good. Appreciate the insight.
Yeah, I heard people from Europe like to go there a lot. Just with everything, with all the prices raising and all the war going on, and that's the last thing I want to the chaos soup that's going on right now. I'll see y'all in the next video.